Good morning, student. Again. So today again we'll discuss some other problems that is based on the indicated power, brake power, different performance parameters of IC engine. So in this problem, if you are reading it, following observations were recorded during a trial on single cylinder 4-stroke oil engine. So what are the readings they have taken? That is equal to that's our cylinder bore is equal to 15 centimeter. So D is given. Length of stroke is equal to 25 centimeter. So stroke length L is given. Mean effective pressure, that is equal to 7.35 bar. So mean effective pressure is given in bar. Again, engine speed is given 400 revolution per minute. So we no need to convert pressure and engine speed as it is given in bar and RPM. Then brake torque is given. So if brake torque is given, that is equal to, so if the brake torque is given, so already torque is given, means net load into the net load and the distance through which that net load is acting, that is given directly. So torque is given, brake torque is 225 Newton meter, and fuel consumption is given, that is equal to 3 kilogram per hour, and calorific value of fuel is given, that is 44200 kilojoule per kilogram. So now we have to find out mechanical efficiency. Again, if you have to find out mechanical efficiency, so obviously you have to find out the indicated power as well as brake power. Then brake thermal efficiency. So for calculating brake thermal efficiency, because thermal efficiency is the ratio of power to thermal heat added to the engine. So it is the ratio of brake thermal efficiency is the ratio of brake power to the heat supplied by the fuel. Again, brake specific fuel consumption, it is the ratio of fuel consumption per power. So it is the ratio of mass of fuel consumed and to the brake power. So now first bit we have to calculate, that is the mechanical efficiency. So prior calculating mechanical efficiency, we have to find out indicated power as well as brake power. So again, so while reading the problem, we have already noted down that the pressure is given in bar. So whenever the pressure is given in bar, so we'll use this formula, that is equal to 100 into K into mean effective pressure into stroke length into area of piston or area of cylinder into number of working stroke divided by 60. So this formula we are going to use. So for prior to using this formula, we'll check the number of cylinder is given or not. If it is not given, so we have to assume it is equal to 1. So single cylinder 4-stroke engine is given in this problem. Single cylinder 4-stroke engine is given in the problem. So here you can read over here, single cylinder is given. So K is equal to 1. So this K will be 1. So here K will be 1. Mean effective pressure is given. That is equal to 7.35 bar. Then stroke length is given. Stroke length is 25 centimeter. So it will be 0.25 meter. Then area, we have to calculate the area as the piston dia is given. So area of cylinder is equal to pi by 4 into D square. Diameter is given, that is the 50 centimeter. So we have converted into meter. So pi by 4 into 0.15 square. So we got the area of the cylinder. So we have calculated the area of cylinder. Then again, so now area is known to us. Now we have to calculate the number of working stroke. As the engine is 4-stroke engine, so we can calculate N is equal to N by 2. So N is the speed of the engine, and engine speed is given, that is equal to 400 revolution per minute. So with the help of engine speed, we have calculated the number of working stroke. Number of working stroke is equal to engine speed divided by 2. So engine speed is 400. So we got the small n is equal to 400 divided by 2, that is equal to 200. So we have put all the data in the formula. So K is equal to 1, PM is equal to 7.35, stroke length is 0.25, area of the piston or area of the cylinder, that is 0.017, and number of working stroke, that is 200 divided by 60, and likewise we have calculated the indicated power, that we got 10.82 kilowatt. Now for calculating brake power, it may be quite difficult because net load is not given. Again, they have not given the diameter of the brake drum, but they have given the net torque. Now already while discussing about the rope brake diameter, we have already discussed that we are calculating by using the basic formula for calculating the power, and that formula is basic formula for calculating the power is 2 pi nt by 60 when the speed of the engine is in revolution per minute. So here T is the torque, and this torque is measured by the rope brake dynamometer, and that is equal to 225 Newton meter. So already the torque is given, so that is enough to calculate the brake power. So we are using the value of torque given in the problem, that is equal to 225. So by using that we can calculate the brake power. So 2 pi into n is given is equal to 400 revolution per minute, and torque is given in the problem is 225 divided by 60. So we have got the brake power is equal to 9.42477 kilowatt. So we got this. Once you have calculated brake power and indicated power, you can calculate the mechanical efficiency, because mechanical efficiency is the ratio of brake power and indicated power. So brake power is equal to 9.42477 divided by 10.82 is the indicated power. So here by solving this mathematical formula equation, we got the mechanical efficiency is equal to 0.827. So that is in not in percentage, so we have divided by the 100, so we got the in percentage form. So 87.1% we got the mechanical efficiency. Now brake thermal efficiency is the ratio of brake power to the mass of fuel heat supply to the engine. So heat supply to the engine is equal to mf into CV. So mass of fuel into calorific value will give the heat liberated from the fuel, and that liberated heat is supplied to the engine. So that will be the heat supplied to the engine. So now this 3600 is given whenever this mf is giving in kilogram per hour. So at that time what we are doing, we are converting it into SI system, that is the kilogram per second. So here this 3600 will come whenever the EMF is given in kilogram per hour. EMF is, so now see that here the mass of fuel is given in 3 kilogram per hour. So due to that this 3600 comes in the formula. But whenever the mass of fuel will be given in the 3 kilogram per second, at that time you don't have to write this 3600. So this is given in the formula. So our formula is this much only. So whenever the mass of fuel will be given in kilogram per hour, at that time only we are using the 3600. So here now we have calculated brake thermal efficiency is equal to BP divided by MF into CB. As the MF is given into kilogram per hour, due to that we have used the 3600. So now we are calculating brake thermal efficiency. Brake power is given in we have calculated, that is equal to 9.42477 divided by 3 divided by 44200, but 3 is given in kilogram per hour, that's why we have converted that into kilogram per second by dividing with 3600. As we are dividing with 3600 to the 3, it will come into the numerator, because it is here 3600, 3 divided by 3600. So we have taken this 3600 to in numerator. So we have calculated the brake thermal efficiency, and that is equal to 25.58. So likewise we have to calculate brake specific fuel consumption, and that is the ratio of mass of fuel supplied divided by brake power. So 3 divided by 9.42. So unit of brake specific fuel consumption is the kilogram per brake power, and this mass of fuel is in hour, that's we got the kilogram per hour per brake power. If it is kilogram per second, so we will get kilogram per second. So but normally brake specific fuel consumption we are calculating in hourly basis. So always whenever the mass of fuel is given in kilogram per second, that time you have to convert it into kilogram per hour, and by using that mass of fuel we have to calculate the brake specific fuel consumption or indicated specific fuel consumption. So these are the important problems you have to understand this problem. So now other problem we will take. This is somewhat difficult problem. So what are the concepts are there in this problem you have to understand. Once you are understanding the concept using this problem, you can easily solve this type of problem if they are coming in the exam. So now I am analyzing this problem. So now we will read this problem first, what is given. So here, so in this problem, so we have given, during a trial of 4-stroke gas engine, following observations were recorded. Bore is equal to 300 mm, speed is equal to 200 revolution per minute, mean effective pressure is given 6 bar, again stroke length is given 400 mm, gas use is given 11.7 meter cube per hour. So now concentrate this. Now what is given? Now see here, gas is given. Gas use means mass of fuel use. What they are telling? Mass of fuel use, but they are not given the mass of fuel use. Here the volume of fuel use is given, because the unit of this gas use is meter cube per hour. So we have to concentrate in what unit the fuel use is given. So it may be given in kilogram per hour, it may be given in meter cube per hour. Whenever it is given in meter cube per hour, so we have given the volume of gas use, volume flow rate. We have given the volume flow rate. So mass flow rate or volume flow rate will be given in the examination. In the problem, so whenever the volume flow rate is given, at that time you have to use the volume flow rate, and all the related formulas will convert will put in, instead of mass of fuel we'll use the volume of fuel use. Now in last problem, what we did, while calculating the brake thermal efficiency, we have used the mass of fuel use. But whenever if the gas use is given in terms of volume flow rate, at that time if you have to calculate the brake thermal efficiency, then in such cases you have to use the volume of gas use, means you have to use brake power divided by volume of fuel into CV, volume of fuel into CV, and calorific value will be will also be given in terms of meter cube basis. So now we'll see the calorific value is given. Now see, calorific value is given in terms of kg at NDP. So this is I think it should be in meter cube basis. It should be in meter cube. It is wrong over here. It should be in meter cube. So calorific value should be in kilojoule per meter cube. So this data is given may be wrong. So it should be in kilogram per meter cube and at normal temperature pressure. So this sentence is very important because calorific value is given at normal temperature pressure condition. It is not given in real condition. It is given for the ideal condition. So whenever the calorific value of gas is used and that is given at that is not given in real condition, if it is given in standard conditions, so we have to convert whatever the gas is given. Now see here, in this problem two different information is given. Now gas use is given at real condition and calorific value of gas use is given in standard condition. So we cannot use this, we cannot combine this volume of gas use as real condition and calorific value of gas given in standard condition. So we have to use the same condition for calculating the mass of heat supplied to the engine. If you have to calculate the heat supplied to the engine and you are multiplying this volume of gas use at real condition into calorific value of gas use in standard condition, that will be wrong. So what you have to do, you have to convert this calorific value of gas use in real condition, or if you are not unable to convert this calorific value of gas use in real condition, then you have to convert this gas use from real condition to standard condition, so that you can calculate the heat supplied to the engine. So student, whatever the thing I have told, that you have to concentrate. That is very important because you cannot use the whenever you have to calculate the heat supplied to the engine and two parameters required to calculate the heat supplied to the engine, that is the what amount of volume of gas or mass of gas is used and the calorific value of that gas. So if these two conditions, two things are given at different conditions, then you cannot calculate the heat supplied by the fuel. So you have to convert either any one of the parameter into same conditions. So we'll see how we are going to solve this problem, because here two different conditions are given. Gas use is given at real condition and calorific value of gas use is given in standard condition. So we will see how we are going to solve it. So now we'll see what are the different parameters again is given in this problem. So gauge pressure of gas is used. So now see here, gauge pressure is given. Again, as the gauge pressure is given, normally we are not using the gauge pressure while calculating the real problem. So we have to use the real pressure, that is the absolute pressure. So we have to use the absolute pressure. We cannot use the gauge pressure for solving the problem. So again we have to convert this gauge pressure into absolute pressure. Brake drum net load on brake is given, brake drum diameter is given, ambient temperature is given, and barometric pressure is given. So now we have to calculate the mechanical efficiency. So what we have to calculate? We have to calculate the mechanical efficiency. So for calculating mechanical efficiency, we have to calculate brake power as well as indicated power. Then again we have to calculate the brake thermal efficiency. For calculating brake thermal efficiency, we have to calculate the heat supplied to the engine. So heat supplied by the fuel, heat input we have to calculate. Without calculating heat input, we cannot calculate brake thermal efficiency, because brake thermal efficiency is the ratio of brake power to the heat supplied by the fuel. And we have already discussed above the gas use and calorific value of gas given on two different conditions. So we have to bring any one of the parameter in same condition. So now see, first of all we will calculate the mechanical efficiency. So for calculating mechanical efficiency, we have to calculate the indicated power. So we'll see, the mean effective pressure is given in bar or so here mean effective pressure is given in bar, because mean effective pressure is required to calculate the indicated power. So see here, we are going to calculate the indicated power first, and then later on we are going to calculate the brake power, and with the help of indicated power and brake power we will calculate the mechanical efficiency. So for calculating mean effective pressure, we need the indicated power, we need a mean effective pressure, and mean effective pressure is given in 6 bar. And we know that whenever the this mean effective pressure is in bar, at that time we are using this formula for calculating the mean effective pressure. Sorry, we have to calculate for calculating the indicated power. So here K is equal to 1, mean effective pressure is given, that is equal to 6 bar, stroke length is given 0.4 meter, area of the cylinder we have calculated, that is equal to 0.0707 meter square, and N we have, N is given, that is a 90 per minute. So in this problem, number of working stroke is directly given. So in this problem, so number of explosion is given directly. So as it is given is directly, so we are not calculating on the basis of speed. So now this is confusing data. So these are the deviating data given for you. They have given the number of explosion per minute as well as they have given the speed. So whenever such condition is coming in the problem, so you have to prefer for the number of working stroke given in the problem. So here we are using the number of explosion per minute directly for calculating the indicated power. So we have used the 90. We have not used N is equal to N by 2, because this is also the, because this is a 4-stroke gas engine. This is a 4-stroke gas engine. So we can say that N is equal to N by 2. But instead of this formula, whatever the direct value is given, that we are using in the problem or solving the indicated power. So number of explosion is given per minute, that is a 90. So we are using this. So by using this, in this formula, K is given, PM is given, stroke length is given, area is given, number of working stroke is given, and with the help of given data, what we have calculated the indicated power. We have calculated the indicated power, and we got the indicated power is equal to 25.45 kilowatt. Now once we have calculated the indicated power, we have to calculate the brake power, and in brake power we have given the brake diameter. Brake diameter is given, net load is given, net load on the brake is given, and brake drum diameter is given. So 2 kilonewton is the brake drum diameter. So we have converted it into SI. 2000 Newton into pi into 1.2 is the brake diameter, and N is given, that is equal to 200 revolution per minute. So N is given, that is equal to 200 RPM that we are using over here. So all the data for calculating brake power is given, and with the help of this data we have calculated the brake power. Now we have calculated the indicated power and brake power, and with the help of this we can calculate the mechanical efficiency. So mechanical efficiency, we can calculate the mechanical efficiency, and that is nothing but the brake power divided by indicated power. So brake power is 25.13 and indicated power is 25.45. So with the help of this we can calculate the mechanical efficiency. So this mechanical efficiency we can calculate with these two data. But now we have to calculate the brake thermal efficiency, and that is the ratio of brake power to the heat supplied by the fuel. And for calculating heat supplied by fuel, we need the volume of fuel supplied into calorific value, but that should be in same unit or same condition. So but they have not given in the same condition. Now here see that. So here this calorific value is not given at NTP condition, it is given at a real condition. So if you are reading these two lines, so here gas use is given at real condition and calorific value of gas is given at NTP condition. So now we cannot convert this calorific value at a real condition. So as it is given at NTP condition, so we are trying to convert this gas use at NTP condition from real condition. So for that we will use these two equation. So we will use these two equation as to find out the volume of gas used at NTP. What we will do? We'll use the equation of gas as NTP condition. So PV is equal to MRT. This equation we have used. So PB is the barometric pressure. So at NTP, normal temperature pressure will be barometric pressure. Volume of fuel used at NTP condition is equal to constant into temperature at normal temperature conditions, NTP condition. So this is the first equation. This is the condition at NTP. Now we are applying the same gas equation for the real condition, that is for atmospheric condition. So equation of gas at atmospheric condition is given by PA into VA is equal to constant into TA. So PA is the atmospheric pressure. So pressure of gas is absolute pressure. We can say this is the absolute pressure of the gas, and this absolute pressure will be equal to the gauge pressure plus barometric pressure into actual volume that is given. So this is given in the problem, and constant into temperature of gas, that is the ambient temperature of the gas. So now we are simplifying these two equation. We are dividing equation 1 by equation 2. So we got PB into V NTP divided by PA into VA is equal to temperature at NTP divided by temperature at ambient. So from here VA is given, and we have to find out volume of fuel at normal temperature pressure. So from this equation we can calculate volume of fuel at normal temperature pressure is equal to VA actual volume at real condition into PA absolute pressure divided by barometric pressure into temperature at NTP divided by temperature at air. So from here absolute pressure is not given in the problem. So this problem is too difficult. Even though they have complicated this problem, so they again complicated this problem by giving this without giving absolute pressure, they have given the gauge pressure. So we have to convert whatever the given gauge pressure is there, that into absolute pressure. So barometric pressure is given in the problem, but again they have make difficult this problem. They have given the barometric pressure in terms of column of Hg, and gauge pressure they have given in terms of water column. Barometric pressure they have given in terms of mercury column, and um, gauge pressure they have given in terms of water column. So we cannot use different column for pressure column for calculating NDV. So again we have to convert either barometric pressure in water column or absolute pressure into water column, mercury column. So this also we have to do. And normal temperature is given, that will be 0 degree Celsius, and ambient temperature is given. So now whatever the pressure changes are we have to do, that we have to do prior using this formula. So I think that you may have understand this formula, how we have derived this formula for calculating the volume at normal temperature pressure by using gas equation for two different conditions. So now we are going to calculate the pressures which is required to calculate the volume at normal temperature pressure. So here now see, at normal temperature pressure the temperature will be 0 degree Celsius. So we have calculated this in Kelvin 273. Atmospheric pressure is given, that is equal to 27 degree Celsius. So we got the TA is equal to 300 Kelvin. Now in for problem, gauge pressure is given in water column. It is given in water column. It is given in water column. So we have to convert this gauge pressure into mercury column. We have to use into mercury column. So we are water column we are equalizing with the mercury column. So rho GH for mercury is equal to rho GH for water. So rho of mercury is 13.600. So this is the density of mercury. So this is the G, and this is the column of mercury. So we are equalizing with the water column. So rho density of water into G 9.81, and 170 is given in the problem. So 170 gas pressure of gas is given. Gauge pressure of gas is given in water column, that is 170 mm. So that we are converting into mercury column. So we have, by using this method, we are going to convert this water column into column of H, means Hg. So mercury column. So likewise we have converted this 170 mm of water into 12.5 mm of Hg. So 12 mm of Hg is the gauge pressure of the gas. Now we are calculating the absolute pressure of the gas, that is equal to the barometric pressure plus gauge pressure, and barometric pressure is given, that is equal to 755 plus 12.5 mm of Hg. We got the 767.5 mm of Hg, that is the absolute pressure of the gas, which is in real condition, which will be in real condition, pressure of gas in real condition. As in real condition we are not using the gauge pressure, we are using the absolute pressure. So this absolute pressure we are going to use for calculating the volume of gas used in normal temperature pressure. So here, so we got the absolute pressure. We have calculated the absolute pressure is equal to VA is 11.7. So that is given in the problem. Actual volume of gas used at real condition, that is the 11.7 meter cube per hour, it is given. Absolute pressure that we have calculated, that is 76.5. Barometric pressure is 755. Temperature at NTP is 273, that is a 0 degree Celsius, and ambient temperature is 300 degree Kelvin. So by using this we have calculated the volume at normal temperature pressure, and with the help of this we will multiply the calorific value at NTP, so that we can calculate the brake thermal efficiency. Now see, so in brake thermal efficiency is the brake power divided by volume of fuel into calorific value. So volume of fuel we have calculated like this. We have already calculated that, we have calculated with the 11.7 into 67.5, that is absolute pressure, divided by barometric pressure into temperature at NTP divided by actual temperature. So we got the volume at NTP, and we are multiplying with the CV at NTP, and with the help of this we got the heat supplied by the fuel. As this 11.7, it is given in meter cube per hour, so that we are using this 3600 over here. Likewise, we are calculating the brake thermal efficiency over here. So brake thermal efficiency, already brake power we are calculating, that is a 25.13 divided by Vf at NTP, NTP condition. So these both are at NTP condition we have used, and by finding Vf at NTP condition we have calculated the heat supplied by the fuel at NTP conditions, and that we have used for calculating the brake thermal efficiency. So we have calculated the mechanical efficiency and brake thermal efficiency by using these formulas. So okay friends, I think that you may have understand this problem, because this is very difficult problem to understand. So if you have understand this problem, so you should try for the other problems similar to these problems. Okay, thank you.